Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to do a rant of the week. Not a very quick rant, I don't think. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Um, and the reason for this rant is lately, for some reason, I've been seeing some debates go on Facebook, on YouTube, other places on the internet, on who would win in a fight, the Joker or the Green Goblin. And it's just been boggling my mind. So I wanted to rant about it because it's like, what? Why? First off, why would they fight? There's no possible reason for them to fight. Joker. Joker's the Joker. His arch nemesis is Batman. That's his primary goal, is to work on defeating Batman. Joker or Green Goblin has nothing the Joker would want, and would have to gain and fighting each other. Green Goblin wants to take over the criminal underworld, and in order to do so, he wants to make an example out of killing the New York's, superhero Spider-Man. So there would really be no reason for them to fight. But if they were to fight, people are like, oh yeah, Green Goblin would beat Joker. Joker would beat Green Goblin. Well, I'm going to attack this a little bit more logically than them. I think, or I'm going to try to, because I even watched some videos where they're like, oh yeah, they would be equal because of this and this and this, and it's like, no, for those exact reasons, no, they would not be equal, and there's a reason why. They wouldn't be equals, and that's because of the heroes they fight. So Joker fights Batman. And, Batman is an amazing superhero. Don't get me wrong. I love Batman. I wish I could finish the Batman animated series collection and the Batman movie collections. I'm missing a couple of the original series, I think. Yeah, I got Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. I need Batman and Batman Returns. I'm missing the two good ones. And I think I'm missing Dark Knight Rises. And all the animated ones. Yeah. All the animated movies. But I love Batman, so I'm not insulting Batman. But at the end of the day, Joker fights Batman. Batman is at peak human level athleticism. He is really tough for a human. That's the critical part there. He's human. He could trounce just about any other human on Earth, but he's just a human. He's got gadgets and skill and stuff like that can put him into the category of fighting humans as well. But he's human. Joker is human. He has nothing. No superpowers whatsoever. He's crazy, and it makes him a threat because he's crazy and unpredictable. And that's why they make such great adversaries, because Batman is all about planning and coming up with the perfect attack to stop something. Whereas Joker's coming up with just randomness. Although, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I don't think he's quite as random as he wants people to believe he is, because he's a master strategist as well. Just checking to make sure the microphone is on. Done that one before. Now, so Green Goblin versus the Joker. So first off, I will explain this, or I will admit this. I'm a major Green Goblin fan. Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. If I were to sit here and make a list of my top 10 favorite villains of all time, the top two would be Hobgoblin and Green Goblin, and not necessarily in that order, just because Hobgoblin and Green Goblin, to me, they're just about equal. So but they're so unique, even though on the surface they seem like, oh yeah, they're just carbon copies of each other. They're so unique characters that they're not. So one would be the 1 slot and one would be the 2 slot, but I don't know who I would give it to. they're my all-time favorite villains. Just flat out. And I'm not just talking like Marvel villains. I'm not just talking comic book villains. I'm talking villain anything. I love Rampage from Beast Wars. I love Megatron from Beast Wars. I love Galvatron from G1. Predaking from G1. I still would put the Goblins higher than them. And I know that's might come to a shock as some of you guys, knowing that how much I love Transformers. But at the end of the day, the Goblins are higher. I just haven't been as on such a kick on collecting the Goblin figures until just recently, because in the comic books, everything comic books nowadays I think suck. I mean, I'm not interested in anything that's going on in the comics nowadays. I've been kind of following it a little bit here and there. The only book out there that I think is still true to the original character really is Moon Knight. Everything else has changed to such a degree that I'm not into it at all. I mean, DC, didn't they just reboot their entire universe into the New 52? I think that's what the New 52 is. I don't know for a fact because I don't read it. And as a matter of fact, I haven't really read Batman comics since the 90s. I haven't read any Spider-Man comics in at least 16 years. Like I said, I follow a few, and same with like X-Men and stuff like that. I don't get it. I'm not as a big fan of it as I used to be. And that's one of the things, like when I buy a Marvel Legends, I don't want an updated Taskmaster. I want the Classics Taskmaster. My feeling on comic books is probably the same feeling that a lot of people have about Transformers. I don't want IDW Megatron. I don't want Beast Wars Megatron. I don't want Beast Machines Megatron. I don't want RID Megatron. I want G1 Megatron. Period. That's how I feel about comics. I'm a little bit more lenient with the Transformers, but when it comes to comic book figures, I want the original versions of the characters. Okay. Wow, totally off topic there, aren't I? Alright, so who'd win in a fight? Green Goblin, Joker. Okay, so I'm going to go with Joker. I'm going to talk about Joker first. And for every point that I go with the Joker, I'm going to make a point with Green Goblin. I think that's the only way I can do this. Without me just saying like all their powers and abilities, and then all their powers and abilities, and then going back and doing the same thing. So Joker. He is smart. He's very smart for a human. He's able to come up with some complex plans that seem like chaos, but at the end of the day, they're not. They are plans. You could tell he's planned this out, and he's got contingencies plans, but it all seems random, which makes him a great villain. That would be one thing I would say Joker has above the Green Goblin. Green Goblin's plans are very straightforward. There's no hidden agendas usually, and it's usually just A to B. I'm going to bomb this building until Spider-Man comes out, and then I'm going to try and kill Spider-Man with my new toy. There's no other planning there. They try when they brought him back from the dead, they tried really hard to make him this master manipulator that's been pulling strings behind the scenes for years, and that doesn't work for me. So I'm not going to talk about from when he returned from the dead and on. I'm talking about Green Goblin, primarily because if we talk about from when he returned to the dead and beyond, he's so insanely powerful at some points. I mean, Iron Patriot, head of Hammer. Was it Hammer or Sword? Head of Thunderbolts, and then this Goblin Army thing. He gets way too insane, powerful, and stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah, Joker's got complex plans that seem like chaos, but in all actuality, they are cleverly put out ploys. Green Goblin, on the other hand, sit, buddy. Come on, say hello. No? Okay, he doesn't want to say hello. Green Goblin, on the other hand, is very straightforward. So then let's talk about other abilities. Joker is a very, very accomplished chemist. He can make this Joker gas in different variations, and he's got like the flower with the poison or with the acid that shoots out. So that's pretty cool for him. Green Goblin, on the other hand, is a wealthy industrialist who mastered chemistry and was able to refine Mendelin Storm's Goblin serum to create the original Green Goblin serum. Even when he was experimenting and not having the notes, he created Proto-Goblin. Chemically, he created this creature who's the original Proto-Goblin, which I really wish they would make a figure of. Come on, Hasbro, please. So there's that. He's also a genius inventor into the level of Batman. And I know a lot of people are like, no, he's not nearly as smart as Batman. But no, he really is. He's probably about as wealthy as Batman, or close to it, and his tech is on par with Batman and Iron Man's most of the time. If you really look at it, I mean, he's got the weapons he utilizes. Joker's over there, he's got the little, like, ring, electro ring thing. Goblin shoots lightning from his fingers. Goblin's got battle armor that protects him from small caliber firearm, and some knives. He's got the Goblin glider, which can go 300 miles per hour. He's got variations of the pumpkin bombs. Some are gas bombs. Some are laughing gas. I've seen the laughing gas a couple times. Some are acid. So it's like, while Joker might be an accomplished chemist, he's not a master chemist. Green Goblin is a master chemist. He knows all the chemistry. The Goblin serum he was working on exploded on him, and that's why he got doused with that particular version of the serum. Unlike, that made him crazy. Because he didn't have time to perfect it, but he would have perfected it at sooner rather than later. He's got the razor bats. He's got I've seen him use these ghost things that like engulf people into like this gel that slowly suffocates them, including people like Human Torch. That's where I'm remembering it from. He's able to hit a button on his glider, and the smoke from the glider will become very thick and sticky. So people can't breathe and they can't get the smoke off of them. So when we're talking about like tech and weapons, Joker uses knives and guns and low tech type, comedic styled dangerous weapons. Don't get me wrong. For a human, these things are fatal. The throwing cards, the acid flower, the shooting somebody, stabbing somebody, those are all extremely fatal towards a regular human. But Goblin has things that will incinerate buildings in one go. So, no question there. Joker, let's talk about his fighting abilities. Joker is a very accomplished fighter. I wouldn't say he started out as it, but throughout the years of battling Batman, he's become very accomplished. He's very, he's very dangerous, and he can just He can whip up on a lot of people, but he's not as good of a fighter as Batman because Batman keeps beating him. But he's getting better every time they fight. Joker gets better. That's what I like about the Joker is because he does learn from his mistakes. Goblin doesn't quite learn from his mistakes. Now, Goblin is not that much of an accomplished fighter. He goes toe to toe with Spider-Man not because of his fighting ability like Spider-Man or Batman, but because of his strength and his intelligence. Again, he's very intelligent. When the Goblin serum that he has is, first off, it made him crazy, but it also enhanced all his muscles, including his brain. That's why he's smarter than the Joker. I could easily say he's smarter than the Joker, and he's smarter, at least as smart, if not smarter, than Batman. And in a fight, Batman would beat Green Goblin. We're not going there. There's no question in my mind. Although it would be a good fight. So the serum enhanced his brain power, so he has superhuman intelligence. So there's something to think about there. But also his strength and endurance, and according to when you read the comics, like if you go from his return, his regeneration, he was able to regenerate the whole hole in his chest where he was pinned to a wall for a minute there. I mean, seriously, impaled on his own glider, dead, but he regenerated. And that's one of the things that people were talking about. It's like, well, Goblin's so stupid, he impaled himself on his glider. Well, yeah, that's because he's crazy and unstable. That's why he did something like that. But at the end of the day, it's not like it killed him. He still got back up. You can't impale Joker and he'd be fine. He's dead. He's a human. But we're not talking about the regeneration really here, because, like I said, I'm not talking about when he came back and on. But a peak human physique of the Joker will say, what, can bench press, 3, maybe 400 pounds? Tops? So we'll say he's peak human ability for a man of his stature. Goblin, on the other hand, is a level 10 supervillain. Because unlike DC, Marvel actually has a power level scale where they actually rank about how powerful each character is in comparison to each other. He's level 10, which means 10 tons. He can lift 10 tons. That's what? 5 to 10 average cars? Joker can't lift a car. Period. It just, no. I mean, Green Goblin would literally crush, like he could just grab him and just crush Joker. Not a fight there at all. In between the tech that Joker or that Goblin has, and compared to the non high tech Joker weapons, the fact that Goblin is smarter than the Joker, although Joker does have better plans than Goblin, the strength and all the other abilities of the Goblin would not only allow Goblin to kill the Joker with very little resistance, but he would also be able to take out, like, if Joker had a whole gang, he'd probably be able to mow through the entire gang and still and not be phased all that much, because of the glider and the body armor. Hitting him with bullets is going to be incredibly hard. I mean, think Batman. It's like Batman hides in the shadows, and when he gets shot by small caliber firearms, he's usually okay. That's what we're talking about with Goblin here. Only pack a level 10 villain behind that suit. So why this would be even a question is one of my, like, why, just, it would be my irritation here. It's just like, but it's just the Joker. You throw Joker up against somebody like Moon Knight, Joker's walking out victorious. I can almost guarantee that. You throw Joker up against Punisher, while Punisher's much more lethal than the Joker, I would still put it on Joker as opposed to Punisher. I'm not selling Joker short. Let me make that straight. He's a level A villain, and he could go up against the best of them. But when you talk about Spider-Man villains and Spider-Man in particular and stuff, and you're talking about Batman villains, they aren't in the same league of each other when it comes to the powers game. Batman doesn't fight very many true superpowers. He fights lots of villains that are usually, completely off the rocker. Joker, Scarecrow, Harley, Two-Face, Mad Hatter, Riddler. They're all, they're all out there. But when you talk about Spider-Man villains, they're all out there too, but they're also throwing cars and trucks at each other. They're in a different field than the Batman villains. So it's just like it boggles my mind why you would think that would be a fair fight. That's like it's not a fair fight. You wouldn't put like I don't know any boxers, but you wouldn't put like a heavyweight champion in with a rookie lightweight, would you? I mean, that doesn't sound like a fair fight. So it's like, I don't know why this is even a real discussion. That's my question. And while we're on the topic, people. I also watched videos and heard discussion of who would win in a fight, Batman or Spider-Man. Spider-Man, duh. And the reason for that, real brief, is just because of the fact that while Batman is very intelligent and he's a better fighter than Spider-Man, I'm not even going to say that. Spider-Man's agility, spider sense, and years in this business of fighting super villains has hardened him to the point where I really doubt Batman would be able to do anything against him. Batman can fight Superman, yes, because he always has a shiny green rock. But if he didn't have kryptonite, it wouldn't be a fight. It really wouldn't. Not even a challenge for Superman to just decimate Batman. But Spider-Man is a level 10 to level 20 hero, which means he can lift 10 to 20 tons. And it's like, I watched this video and they're like, oh, well, Batman would find a way to get Spider-Man into like water that would reduce his speed. And it's like, no, that would reduce Batman's speed. It wouldn't reduce Spider-Man's speed. Batman is not an accomplished water fighter. He's an accomplished fighter around everything, but it's not like he's better at fighting in water than Spider-Man. If we're talking like Aquaman or Namor, then I'd be like, okay, I can see your point there. But one, why would Spider-Man let him be lured into water when Spider-Man could just walk on the ceiling above Batman? And I've seen Spider-Man fight in water. He's as good. He's almost as good as he is on land. I mean, he's stronger. He's faster. His agility is like insane when it comes to. What you doing, buddy? Trying to get something? But it's like, it wouldn't be a fight. Nothing Batman has going into a Spider-Man universe would, like, and I'm not saying Batman himself, but just Batman in comics has, that would really be able to fight things in the Spider-Man comics. These two just aren't on the same field. So, and what I mean by that though is, like, if Batman were to take Spider-Man's place in the Spider-Man world, he would do very well for a very long time. He might even be able to continue. It would take him a little adjustment period, fighting some of those villains that Spider-Man fights, because he wouldn't be used to fighting all these people with so much strength. You look at Bane, and while Bane is really strong, he's not Goblin strong. And Goblin's just a level 10 in that aspect. So it's like, there would be an adjustment period, but Batman would prevail, I would think, in the Spider-Man world. Spider-Man going into Batman's world would be hilarious, because nothing that Batman villains has, Spider-Man hasn't already defeated, like, better versions. Like, let's take Killer Croc. It's like, okay, he's big, he's strong, he's got the reptile skin, he gives Batman a run for his money here and there. He's a great villain. For Batman, you throw Spider-Man in the mix, he's going to knock him out with one punch because he's used to fighting the Lizard. I mean, Lizard's faster, stronger, smarter than Croc. It's not even. It wouldn't even be a fight. Not even remotely. Again, Bane gives Batman a run for his money. Sure, Bane. One thing to remember is Bane knew that he'd get his ass handed to him by Batman, so he broke all the villains out of Arkham and had them put Batman through the gauntlet before he went in there and broke the bat. So remember that Bane isn't better than Batman. He's smart enough to know that he can't fight Batman, but Bane is just an average punk with super strength to Spider-Man. It's like, oh, he deals with this every other day. One punch and okay, he's down, because he's not as strong as, again, Goblin. He can't lift 10 tons. I think he's like, I don't know what his, because DC doesn't have a power level. I would imagine he'd probably be able to lift max about a ton. So Goblin's 10 times stronger than him, in all likelihood. There's something to think about there. Joker wouldn't have. Joker has the enjoyment of Batman, of fighting Batman, because he wants Batman to break his rules. He wants to push Batman over the edge. He wants, to torment Batman, and he can do that with Batman. He can't do that with Spider-Man, because the second Spider-Man gets a hold of him, he's done. The fight's over. It's not this big, long, convoluted plan that, it might take Batman a few minutes to get through, but because Spider-Man would just mow through. If Joker has a gang, they're people. Spider-Man doesn't fight people. He just trounces them, webs them up, and he's done. I'm not sitting here saying that, like when we're talking about who's a better hero, Batman or Spider-Man, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the straight powers. Batman is human, so he's got to take the time and defeat the bad guys. Spider-Man wouldn't have to do that with regular people. He typically doesn't. He could just web them up and they're done. It's like, okay, Clayface. There's a great one of my favorites of Batman villains. But Spider-Man's fought Hydro Man. Spider-Man's fought Sandman. There's a guy made out of sand and a guy made out of water. So a guy made out of clay, he's been there. He's done that. The Riddler, as good as he is with, coming with complex puzzles and stuff like that, from what we know from, when Spider-Man fights Mysterio, who creates all these illusions that trick everybody else, all he has to do is close his eyes and he knows the answer to the puzzle because of the spider sense. It tells him where to go. So Riddler wouldn't be a fight either. And yeah. Anyway, so that's my assessment on that fight. If that fight were to ever take place, Goblin would crush Joker without hardly any difficulty. And that'd be it. That'd be the end of it. Plain and simple. There is no there is no like, oh well, maybe if Joker did this. No, it's Joker would get crushed. Yeah, you like the ball? Guess he likes the bone. Anyway, and again, I'm not trying to badmouth Batman or Batman fans out there. I'm just saying it wouldn't be a fight because they're not on the same level. Now, if we were talking about like Moon Knight, then we have some Moon Knight or Daredevil. Daredevil's probably the best one. If we were to truly be a fair thing to swap out, would be like Daredevil's villains to Batman villains. That would be more fair. Bullseye versus Joker. That would be a better fair fight. Not Jester, not not Jester character. Kingpin versus Penguin. You see, this is where things would get a little bit more even. They're on level grounds. They would both have better abilities that can coincide with one another. Spider-Man would probably be better suited. I don't think there is anybody in the DC universe that would be able to fairly swap out with that. Superman is too powerful. But that's a different story for a different day. So anyway, there's my rant of the week. I have put a lot of thought over the past 31 years on who would win in a fight in between supervillains from DC and supervillains from Marvel. So if you guys want me to talk about any of them, comment below. As a matter of fact, I probably have already come up with an analysis of a fight from the two. So I can you could pretty much tell me like, oh, who would win in a fight, Superman or Ghost Rider? And I'd look at you and go, Ghost Rider, duh. And, and that'd be the end of it. And I can go into why, but for me, I don't think it needs saying. But anyway, there you go. There's Joker versus Green Goblin. There's my rant of the week. Comment below what you think, and if you want me to do more of these, feel free to let me know, or just say in the comments, like Superman versus Ghost Rider, or why do you think Ghost Rider would be able to trounce Superman? Superman can't fight magic. Ghost Rider is magic. There's not a fight there. So anyway, there you go.